I'm sure you hear all the time, I'm done with politics. Can't even keep up anymore. I don't even know what's real anymore. My neighbor who voted for President Biden, voted for President Trump, et cetera. So what is the positive alternate vision that we should arm our listeners with, that they can go out into their communities and talk to people about? And what do you think we should be doing in terms of our status on the world stage? Because you've alluded to it in many of these cases, but I think people are really hungering for the message that the tight couple-line message that they can bring out to their communities.
We are in the middle of a fight over who we are. Who is America? Who are Americans? How will we be seen in the world? How will we act in the world? When President Biden was elected in 2020, he went and visited with a European head of state and said, America is back. And this national leader looked at him and said, yes, but for how long? And that speaks to the sharp concern that our closest allies and most trusted partners have. When USAID was illegally shut down abruptly, despite there being a law that says only Congress can agree to do that, and when thousands and thousands of staff were laid off around the world for our nonprofit partners in AID, that sent a clear signal to a lot of the world that we're not a country of compassion, that we're not a reliable partner when it comes to everything from fighting trafficking and disease to promoting security and combating disinformation. There are ways that we can continue to do that good work, personally, privately, philanthropically, whether through your faith community or through a nonprofit you admire or through the work of great organizations that are still doing this. I think that is worth investing time and heart and energy in. In our own neighborhoods and communities, there's just an increasing coarseness and anger about politics. As you said, there's folks who are saying, oh, my friend, my neighbor, my relative voted for so-and-so, voted for so-and-so. I'd encourage, which seems an odd thing to do, your listeners to make sure that they're putting down the phone and turning off the TV a little bit. Less time on MSNBC, less time on Twitter or X, and take that time and invest it in family, in community, in building real human connection, in being less enraged and more engaged. And recognize that, in my view, President Trump has wildly overreached. His chaotic and unpredictable tariff decisions of the last few weeks threw our markets into chaos and likely will continue to. The idea that huge tariffs can restore America's manufacturing greatness is one of the few things he's consistently believed for decades. He's held almost every other view, but this is something that he was speaking out about in the 80s. And speaking up in a measured, thoughtful, well-informed way in your family, in your neighborhood, at your business, in your community, in the ways where you engage, and demanding respect and giving respect is important to showing that we are a civil society that can disagree in an agreeable way. And then last, if you've got the heart for it, get engaged, because change really is going to come from the ground up. We're going to see special elections for state rep and state senate and city council and county council seats. There are elections in New Jersey and Virginia this year that are critical. There was just a big election for the Wisconsin Supreme Court seat that will control the majority of the Wisconsin Supreme Court. And we are not that far from midterm elections where control of the House and the Senate will be on the line. In 2017, 4 women chose to step forward and run for Congress. First-time candidates, amazing, capable, talented, passionate candidates who are now my colleagues in Congress and who won seats that had been represented by Republicans for decades and decades. They were folks who were sitting at home watching what was going on in 2017 saying, I disagree with this. This isn't the America that I believe in. And so they took a bold step and stepped forward, stood up, and ran. Not everybody who runs will win. Not everybody who volunteers and contributes and engages will be satisfied by it. But you have to ask yourself, at this moment, where the very definition of American is at risk and is at issue, do you have something to say? Do you believe we're better than this? Do you think we're a different country than the one you're watching unfold on television and social media every night? I sure do. And I need help. We need people engaging, rolling up their sleeves, and fighting for who we've been, who we are, and who we are called to be.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of The People's Cabinet. If you did, please like, subscribe, ring that bell, and put in the comments below who else you'd like to see sworn in. And stay tuned for new episodes every Tuesday. Let's go.